The cameras rolled, the bright studio lights shined down, and the audience was ready for another heated sports debate. The topic for today? Justin Jefferson, one of the most electrifying wide receivers in the NFL. The host smirked, leaning forward in his chair, his voice dripping with sarcasm. Justin Jefferson? Overrated. One good season, and now he thinks he is the best? Laughter filled the studio. Some of the panelists chuckled, shaking their heads. But Justin Jefferson? He did not laugh. He did not flinch. The host expected him to get defensive, to fire back with frustration. But what he did next left the entire room silent. Justin Jefferson sat back in his chair, his expression calm. He had heard critics talk before. He had seen analysts doubt him even after breaking records. But something about this host's tone felt different. Across the table, the host smirked. He leaned back, fully enjoying the moment. He had seen players get emotional, seen them lash out when challenged. That was exactly what he wanted. "Tell me, Justin," the host continued, shaking his head, "what happens when defenses stop playing soft against you? You really think you can keep up this pace?" The other panelists chuckled. Some shifted in their seats, sensing the tension in the air. The host was not asking a question. He was mocking him. Justin knew it. And so did everyone else. The screen behind them displayed his record-breaking stats. His name was at the top of nearly every major receiving category. The numbers did not lie. But still, the host refused to acknowledge his success. "Your rookie season? Sure, it was impressive, but you are not Randy Moss. You are not Jerry Rice. One bad injury and nobody is talking about you anymore." A few gasps rippled through the studio audience. That was a low blow. The host knew exactly what he was doing. The cameras zoomed in on Justin's face, waiting for a reaction. Would he snap? Would he fire back? Would he let the disrespect get to him? But instead of reacting immediately, Justin simply smiled. That was when the mood in the studio changed. The host's smirk faltered for just a second. He had expected an angry response. He had expected frustration, maybe even an argument. But Justin Jefferson just sat there, staring at him. And the silence in the room grew heavier. Nobody knew it yet, but this was the moment everything shifted. The studio was dead silent. The host, who had been grinning moments ago, now fidgeted slightly in his chair. Justin Jefferson sat back, calm as ever. He was not angry. He was not flustered. He was just watching. Then he finally spoke. "You ever played a snap in the NFL?" The host blinked. He was not expecting that. No, but..." Justin tilted his head slightly, his voice still cool and collected. "Ever lined up against an all-pro corner? Ever had to adjust your route in real time while a 250-pound linebacker is running full speed at you?" The host opened his mouth, but no words came out. Justin leaned forward, his tone still controlled but firm. "Ever had a stadium of 70,000 fans screaming, cameras in your face, and one shot to make the biggest play of your career? Ever had your entire team depending on you with the clock winding down and no second chances?" The host shifted in his seat. He let out a nervous chuckle, but nobody else was laughing. The audience was locked in. The other panelists, who had been chuckling earlier, now looked at Justin with a new kind of respect. Then Justin delivered the final blow. "You sit here in a suit, behind a microphone, judging players who put their bodies on the line every Sunday. But let me ask you this." He paused. The tension in the room was thick. "When was the last time you had to prove yourself under pressure?" The host's face froze. He swallowed, shifting in his seat, glancing toward the camera like he was looking for a way out. The silence stretched. The energy in the room had completely changed. What had started as a joke at Justin's expense had turned into something else entirely. Nobody had expected this. Nobody. The studio was filled with people. But in that moment, it felt like it was just Justin and the host. And the host? For the first time that night, he had nothing to say. The silence was suffocating. The cameras were still rolling, the lights still beaming down on the set, but the entire energy of the room had shifted. Justin Jefferson had not raised his voice. He had not gotten angry. He had simply spoken the truth. And now, the host had nothing left to say. One of the other panelists, an older former NFL player, let out a low whistle and shook his head. "Man, that is the realest thing I have ever heard on this show." The audience murmured in agreement. Some even nodded, as if Justin had just said something they had all been thinking for years. The host, desperate to regain control, forced a chuckle. "Look, I am just asking questions. You know how this works, Justin." Justin leaned back, crossing his arms. His eyes did not leave the host. "Yeah, I know exactly how this works. You sit here and talk about the game like it is just numbers and opinions. But for me, for us, it is our lives." The host licked his lips, shifting uncomfortably again. Justin shook his head slightly. "You call me overrated? Fine, say whatever you want. But you know what I know? Not a single person in the NFL cares what you think." A few gasps rippled through the studio. The other panelists stifled smiles. The host, his face turned red. Justin was not done yet. "You can sit here and debate stats all day, but when I walk into that locker room, I have nothing to prove to you. I prove myself every Sunday against the best athletes in the world. You are just sitting in a chair." The host opened his mouth, but once again, no words came out. The other panelists started grinning. The audience was locked in. The cameras zoomed in on the host, whose usual confidence had completely evaporated. Justin Jefferson had not shouted. He had not argued. But somehow, he had just won the debate without even trying. And what happened next would send the internet into a frenzy. The show had not even finished airing before social media exploded. Within minutes, clips of Justin Jefferson's calm yet devastating response flooded Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. People could not stop talking about it. Justin Jefferson just ended that man's entire career without even raising his voice. That host thought he was going to embarrass Justin. Instead, he embarrassed himself. The clip was shared millions of times. Sports fans, analysts, even other athletes weighed in. Former and current NFL players rallied behind Jefferson. One legendary wide receiver tweeted, "That was the most professional shutdown I have ever seen. Salute to Justin Jefferson." Even people who were not NFL fans were commenting. Some were defending sports analysts, but the overwhelming majority? They knew what they had just witnessed. The host, the same man who had been laughing and mocking Justin just hours ago, was now completely silent. His Twitter account, normally filled with hot takes and controversial opinions, had not posted a single word. But Justin? He did not even have to say anything. He had already won. Then, something happened that nobody expected. A national sports network picked up the clip and aired it on primetime television. Not just as a funny viral moment, but as a lesson. One of the hosts on the show shook his head, playing the footage again. "This right here? This is why athletes do not respect some of these TV analysts. They get paid to talk, but the players are the ones who actually live it." The discussion spread beyond sports. News outlets picked it up. People debated whether sports talk shows had gone too far, whether athletes deserved more respect in media. And all of it started because one host thought he could mock Justin Jefferson on live TV. But what happened next? That would take things to another level. Because while the internet argued, Justin Jefferson made his final move, and it was his most savage response yet. As the internet continued to erupt, everyone was waiting for Justin Jefferson's response. Would he post something? Would he call out the host? Would he add fuel to the fire? But instead of firing back with insults or a long-winded statement, Justin kept it simple. He went to Twitter and posted just 5 words. "Pressure makes diamonds. Keep talking." That was it. No rant, no direct mention of the host. Just a message that spoke louder than any argument ever could. And that one tweet? It broke the internet. Within an hour, the tweet had hundreds of thousands of likes and shares. Fans went wild. Memes flooded social media. The phrase, "pressure makes diamonds," started trending. One fan tweeted, "Justin just cooked that man in real life, then finished him off with a 5-word tweet. That is legendary." Even sports analysts who were not on the show started defending Jefferson. They had seen too many athletes disrespected on TV, and this moment had exposed it in the worst way. Meanwhile, the host? He was nowhere to be found. People noticed he had gone silent. No tweets, no replies, no statements. The man who had spent his career talking over athletes had just been humbled on his own platform. But Justin was not done yet. That same evening, he appeared on another sports show, where they asked him about the viral moment. His response? "I do not argue with people who have never played the game." The studio erupted in laughter and applause. The host interviewing him smiled and shook his head. "That is cold, man." Justin just shrugged. "It is the truth." And just like that, the debate was over. No shouting match, no drama, just pure, undeniable reality. The host who tried to mock Justin would never live this down. And Justin? He walked away from the moment even bigger than before. This was more than a clapback. This was a lesson in respect. And the world was watching. Respect is earned, not given. And Justin Jefferson earned it without even trying. He did not need to argue. He did not need to yell. He let his talent, his success, and his confidence do the talking. In the end, the host who mocked him ended up embarrassing himself. What do you think? Did Justin handle this the right way? Or should he have gone even harder? Let us know in the comments. Do not forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more unforgettable NFL stories. Stay tuned for the next shocking and inspiring tale from the world of football.